me about the family then, Zar. You know, what's the background, your parentage?
My dad is from India. My mum was from Pakistan. He fled after the partition in 1947. He lost his parents along the way. I think there were massacres and there was a pretty traumatic time. I think it was one of the largest displacements of the population.
Millions of people.
Yeah, 12.5 million or something. So he ran away from home when he was 17, came to England, changed his name.
What was his name and what is his name? Did he anglicise
my surname should be Rana. It wasn't anglicised. He just cut all ties off with any family that he did have. I think when he got here, they just asked you your name, so he just decided to have a fresh start and gave the surname of Rasul, which means prophet. But my surname, the family name would have been Rana, which means jeweller, and his family were jewellers in India. And he has some relatives who are still carrying on the jewellery tradition in Pakistan now. So he came here when he was 17.
And can I just interject there? Is he from a Muslim background?
He's from a Muslim background. Both my parents are from Muslim backgrounds. When he arrived here, he got ripped off. He got a taxi from Heathrow to Brick Lane because everyone told that was the place to go. Brick Lane is where you converge. He got out of the taxi, and the taxi driver drove off with his suitcases still in the back. So there he was, 17, completely in a new culture with nothing. And he slept on a roof. I think it was the summer. And he slept on the roof of a butcher shop in Brick Lane. And the owner found him in the morning, and I think I don't know if he took pity on my father, but he helped him and got him some accommodation. And because my dad had learned English in Pakistan, he got work with the army, helping to translate when they were giving out uniforms, and moved to Oxford for a while. And then I think when he was 20, he went back to Pakistan, married my mum, and then they both came back and they settled here.
So where was he, just fill in some of those gaps for me, where was he from in India?
From New Delhi.
New Delhi, okay, right, so the capital. So what was his recollection of those troubles at the time of independence, that intercommunal violence?
He tends not to talk about it, actually. I think it's quite a traumatic experience for him. So he just says it was a terrible time, and it was, you've never seen so many people kind of herding. He likened it to sort of, herds of animals when they migrate, and just I remember saying the stench, of people who are ill and decomposing bodies and all of these things. It's almost unimaginable, but he doesn't talk that much about it. But when he has done, he's just said it was a really sort of traumatic time.
And did he leave behind his parents, brothers, sisters? Does he know what happened to them?
His parents died en route as they were travelling from India to Pakistan. But his brothers, he was one of seven brothers, so they made it, and they all sort of started again in Pakistan. But I think they were wealthy before they went, and then it took a while. His relations now are kind of have caught back up with what they lost 3 generations ago, and so that's starting to they were starting to re-establish their security and having businesses and stuff like that.
What does your dad say about where he feels connected to? Does he feel connected? Does he feel connected to India? Does he feel connected to Pakistan, or does he feel connected to Brick Lane?
I think he feels connected to England now. He's lived here. I mean, he's 67 now, so he's spent 50 of his 67 years here. And he has gone back, but I don't think he'd ever go back to live in Pakistan. Because I think, in a way, he was displaced from India to Pakistan, and then he's displaced again from Pakistan to here, and then I think, culturally things shift so much that the country you imagine you left behind, of course, has moved on, and you go back there, and it's nothing like what you imagine. It's much more like here, and you have this kind of rose-tinted view of how things were better in the old country, and then you go back and it's a shock. The iPhone generation exists everywhere now. So
tell me a bit more though about then. So he arrives in Brick Lane. Just slow that down a bit. He arrives in Brick Lane. He's on the butcher's roof.
Yeah.
I mean, that first night he hasn't got anything.
He hasn't got anything.
He's got the clothes he stands up in, and maybe a few pounds.
Yeah.
He would hope
£2.
£2 in his pocket.
£2. The government gave you £2.
Well, what happens then, and how does he not starve? How does he get a roof over his head? How does he get a job?
He goes into the chap in the butcher shop got him into a house where it was one of these houses, and I'm sure it still exists now, where basically the bed's never cold. A group of men sleep in there, and then they go off to their shift, and then you go in, and their room becomes your room. And I think he worked for the butcher shop for the butcher for a while, and then, as I say, because his English was a bit better, the army were looking for people in Oxford to work in I can't think of what the place was. I guess where they give out the uniforms, and so because he could translate what people's sizes were and stuff like that, he after a few months went to Oxford and found probably digs there, worked there for a little while, and then from there he went to Willesden and worked in a plastics injection moulding firm for a while, when we still had more of an industry and made things.
At that point, has he met your mother yet?
No.
So this is all pre-20?
That's all pre-20, so that's in those 3 years. Then he went back to Pakistan, and he knew of my mum. My mum had also been orphaned, but under different circumstances. She was originally from Kashmir, and then she'd moved to Pakistan to this place called Saiwal. And so he knew her story was similar to his in that they were both parentless. And
I mean, what then became? Did he have a career? Did he have a series of different jobs?
Well, when he went back at 20, married my mum, and came here, and then he worked in one firm for about 25 years that made photocopying and reprographics equipment
In London?
In London, until sort of the Japanese took over and became experts in all those things. No one else could compete, and was made redundant from there, and has since worked as a bus driver in London.
Okay. So what are you doing with your family? I mean, are you still a practicing Muslim? Has it turned you away from the faith?
I'm an atheist. I went to a sort of C of E school in the week, and went to an Islamic school on a Saturday, and my two best friends were Jewish, so I grew up with a lot of religion and had a lot of interest in religion, and probably spent more than the average person studying it and going into it, and finally concluded I didn't believe it. And I think my experience has left me feeling that notions of identity, people hold on to them too rigidly, and I think, and maybe controversial, but I think roots are for plants to some extent, not for human beings to hold on to them so rigidly, because it just creates more problems. It doesn't really. Love is the answer, love is what connects us all, not roots, not nationality, not geographic borders.
I'll tell you what you've just told us makes you perfect, I think, for what you're doing here at King Alfred's. This is the perfect environment for that. Zar, thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks. Thank you.
I mean,